In this video, I'm going to show you the communications priority pyramid that I use every single day to decide what gets my time, what doesn't get my time, and keeps small requests from eating away at my entire work week. Let's jump into the training. So starting from the very beginning, you need to have a system or a process in place in order to properly communicate to your church members, to your fellow staff members, to your pastor, what your expectations are as a communications director. So that way when they come to you and you evaluate your time and the energy that you're going to put into that graphic, you have a great system in place to help redirect them into the right direction. So I'm going to show you what I use here at Dalton First. I call it the communications priority pyramid. It is set up in a way to where you can take it and adjust some of the numbers yourself and use it in your own context. But I'm going to show you in our context exactly how it works. So let me draw out, you know what a pyramid looks like. Surprise. We're going to cut it down into two more pieces. Two more lines to make three more pieces. The thing about a pyramid is your top piece is going to be smaller than your bottom piece. And keep that in mind as we move forward. I call this top one tier 1. I call the middle one tier 2. And this last one is tier 3. So let me explain to you what's going on in my head here. I would consider tier 1 to be all external events. Anything that is creating a graphic that is inviting people into our church, that would be an external event. So you're thinking Christmas services, Easter services, maybe like a fall festival, a spring festival, those kind of events. That is what we would consider to be tier number 1. Tier number 2 is what I would consider internal events. This would be anything that would be more insider focused for your church community. Maybe like if you have Wednesday night dinners, some small groups that meet on a Wednesday night with like youth activities and all that kind of stuff, I would consider that an internal event. We also had an Advent wreath creation event here at our church. That was an insider focused event. So that's what I would consider a tier 2 graphic. And then the last one is what I would just consider small or small group. This would be anything that would consider to be small groups, Bible studies, anything like that. Now, if you look at the pyramid, you can see, like I said at the beginning, it gets bigger as you go down, and there's a reason for that. So, what's one thing we know that's true when it comes to church events and graphics requests? There's a few of these. You got a few events. You got, like I said, Christmas, Easter, Fall Festival, Spring Festival, all of that. So there's a minimal amount of events that happen in your tier 1. But tier 3, all of your small groups, Bible studies, youth groups, dinners, potlucks, all that kind of stuff, there's a lot more of them down here. We have plenty of these events. What's one thing that we know to be true about graphic creation? It can take time. If you allow these events down here to take up the majority of your time, you are going to be in a position where you're going to be spending way more time on these graphics than you are these graphics up here. So how do we keep that from happening? Well, I put in place a set of parameters of what I mean by external, internal, and small. And these numbers will differ and vary depending on what size your church is and how many people you have on your communications team. If you're like me and you're by yourself, this is where I start. And you can use this exact framework as well. So, external event. I say anything 500 plus. We know that there's going to be a lot of people here on campus at Christmas, at Easter. We know if when we have a fall festival or a spring festival, there's going to be a lot of people in the community here. So I say anything that is 500 plus people deserves to be in tier 1. It is our biggest ROI as far as the effort that we put into graphic creation and promotion and social media promotion. Tier number 2, internal event. Like I said, Wednesday night suppers, all that kind of stuff. Maybe a Sunday night
service. Maybe that's not your very outsider-focused service. We have a rough number, about 100 people. That's what would land in the tier 2 category. And then my small group area. I say anything under 30. Now, this little area right here will get a little gray. Anywhere in between tier 2 and tier 3 can start to get a little weird. But I'm going to show you how I delegate these tasks.
Hey, hold up for just 1 second. If you are wanting access to the full toolkit that goes along with this training, all you have to do is go down to the description below, click that link. It's absolutely free. It comes with my free ebook, workbook pages, posters, all of the above, things that will help you implement AI into your ministry today. This toolkit is exactly what you need to get started, to start seeing results within the next 24 hours. So if you want access to that toolkit, just go to the description below, click that link, and it will be there for you, absolutely free. Now, let's jump back into the training.
When we talk about the level of importance and how much work needs to go into something, if you're a one-person communications director or just a pastor by themselves working on these events, you have only a certain amount of time. Let's just say you've got 50 hours to put into your week. Well, we know that 50 hours can't just go to graphic creation. The majority of your job, the thing that you got into ministry to do, was to be with people and to minister to people. And yes, this stuff is important to get people in the door, but it is not the actual part of ministering to people, being with people, guiding people, shepherding people. I want you to get these hours back, to redeem these hours so you can get back to what's most important, and that's being with people. So an external event deserves the majority of the time that we would put into that event. I usually say anywhere between 2 to 5 hours for graphics, promotion, social media. So that's not just creating the graphics, that's getting prints, flyers, banners, screen graphics, everything that goes with that. Social media copy, scheduling posts, getting ads out there. I would say anywhere between 2 to 3 hours of work per project. Now, if you only have Christmas, Easter, Fall Festival, Spring Festival, your bigger events, that's not that many hours during the week. Your internal event, I say anywhere between 30 minutes to an hour. "30 minutes to an hour of work. Still important. You're feeding into the people of your church, but you want to make sure that as these requests get bigger, you're not spending as much time as you would an external event on an internal event. You can see where the hours are going to start dragging away. Your small event, I'm going to be honest with you here. This is how much time. I refuse to put any more time than this. 15 minutes. Because let's say you have 25 requests to come in at the beginning of your week. And at minimum, you put an hour into each one of those. You just lost 25 hours in your work week just working on internal graphics. Not even internal, small group graphics, communications. So, how on earth do we alleviate all this stress? How on earth do we delegate this work so that way we're not spending as much time? Well, I say every bit of external communication that goes into your community needs to be touched by you from the majority point. So I would say from this point, your communications director, that's just what I'm going to put here, but you could be senior pastor, whatever your position is, communications director needs to have their hand in this 90 to 100%. 90 to 100%, your hand is touching this graphic because it holds your brand, your guidelines, everything that says we are this specific church. This is the amount of work that you need to put into it so people know who you are in the community. The next tier, this is where AI starts to get involved. Then I say communications director plus AI. So Matt, how does that work? Communications director plus AI? Well, what I do, and we'll dive into this later into some other videos, but this workflow is very simple. I'll go into something like ChatGPT or Google Gemini and ask it to generate a graphic with all the parameters of what I'm trying to do. So let's say we have our Wednesday night suppers, and I need copy and a graphic for our Wednesday night supper events. I will go into ChatGPT and say, here are the parameters of our Wednesday night dinner. It starts at 5 o'clock. Our programming starts at 6. We have children, young adults, family, and older adult ministries going on. Something for everybody at any stage of life. And you are invited. I will put that into ChatGPT and say, I need you to create a modern, simple design graphic that I can use on social media and in our church worship guides and even on our screens during our services. It'll generate that graphic for me, and it's probably going to be spelled wrong in some places, might have too much information in one place, but it gives me a starting point, so I don't have to start from ground zero on what that graphic would look like. I would then take that graphic, move it over into something like Canva, and build it from there. So if the graphic had some food on a table and it said Wednesday night suppers or Wednesday night dinners, but maybe Wednesday was spelled incorrectly, well, I let ChatGPT or Google Gemini do the majority of the work for me, and then I just go into Canva, find a good picture of a meal, retype out the text the way that it looks. I let AI do the majority of the work there at the beginning, so I'm not spending as much time on tier 2. This helps alleviate the time and keeps me within that 30 minutes to an hour mark on an internal event. Now, the last tier. This is where some of y'all might get at me. AI only. And the reason we do this is because I want to only spend time prompting the AI, getting the prompt in there, generating the graphic, and getting it out. And this is where something incredible like Canva AI comes into play. Canva AI's image generator has been an incredible tool that has been added into our arsenal as communications directors because it not only creates a graphic for you, but it will also create the graphic with editable layers. So if something is spelled incorrectly, you can actually go into that text box and fix it. So AI only for the copy and for the graphic. That way, you are only spending 15 minutes on each one of these tasks, saving you time, redeeming your time, so that way you can focus on what's important. I want you to remember this, and no matter how many times you've watched these videos, to be with people, because that is why you got into ministry. You did not get into ministry to create graphics. You did not get into ministry to sit behind a meta analytics screen or scheduling screen and figuring out what post I'm going to post this week. You got into ministry to serve people, to be with people, and I want you to get back to that. So I have this resource for you. You'll be able to see it at the end of this video. Actually, we'll probably put it down into the comments now if you just want to go find it. It's in the comments. It's in the description below. I've created a Redeem Your Time toolkit, and this is one of the pieces that's in that toolkit. You'll get a version of it with my information. This is completely free, by the way. I'm not trying to sell you on anything. I want you to be able to redeem your time. It's going to have my version with all of my numbers in here, but then it's going to have ones with blanks that you can use as well to get started. So it'll have a blank with your external number, a blank with your internal number, a blank with your small group number. So you can start building this out, and then you can take this to your staff during a staff meeting like I have before, present this to them and help them understand why some requests get the AI treatment and why some requests get your 100% attention. So that is the communications priority pyramid in a nutshell, and it's how we're going to build the rest of this workshop.
Now, this priority pyramid is one small step of a larger communication strategy where I dive into AI, how to make quick videos and how to manage it all without losing your minds. If you want to see the full masterclass, go ahead and follow this video right here where you can see the whole system working as one. If you found value in this video, go ahead and hit that subscribe button and share this video with somebody that you believe needs some extra margin in their life, because we're not here to do this alone. We're here to help each other out, and we ultimately want to redeem our time so we can get back to doing what's really important, being with people. I'll see you guys over in the video.